1, 2, 3, 4. Wood County District Public Library Ukulele Club. It's the Wood County District Public Library Ukulele Club. Come on along and play your ukes with me. It's the Ukulele Club. Take it, Chip. District Public Library Ukulele Club. It's the Wood County District Public Library Ukulele Club. So come on along and play your ukes with me. It's the Ukulele Club. Hey everybody, welcome back. It's the Ukulele Club.
The Wood County District Public Library Ukulele Club.
Hey, well done.
Thank you.
I have it right here on my name tag, so I can refer to it if I need to.
It's the initials that I can never remember, the abbreviations that people say so fast.
Yeah.
So, and if in a future iteration of the song, you have to sing the letters instead of
WC. I've noticed that people who work here often try to say WCDPL, and it's almost as hard to say that as it is to say the whole name. WCDPL, yeah. We are here in conference room C today, which has some nice brick. Nick is here helping us with the live stream. We got a couple of ukuleles. We've got a special guest back here, the bass ukulele. And we're here to play ukulele music. We're here to show you some things about playing the ukulele, whether you're a beginner or not. The ukulele is a perfect instrument for beginners, I think. But it's also, I feel like I shouldn't say but, and it's also a serious instrument for advanced players, for seasoned musicians. So no matter what kind of experience you have, what kind of musician you are, and no matter whether you have a ukulele with you right now or not, we hope you'll stick with us and find something entertaining, enlightening, educational, and fun. You can find some short tutorial videos, some archives of our previous live streams, and some other stuff on the library's Ukulele Club page. And I've got the URL here. You can come back and pause that if you want to.
That's so high tech, sure, the URL.
I know, the 21st century is kind of ridiculous sometimes. You can also check out our band website, grubsmusic.com. The Grand Royale Ukulelists of the Black Swamp is the premier ukulele quartet of Northwest Ohio, and we are half of it. I think the ukulele, more than most musical instruments, inherently offers something for everybody. So, Sherry, help me out with this. You can use it as a percussion instrument.
Oh, okay. So there are a variety of methods. The first method for the strapless is you can just put it down on your lap.
You might notice it's sort of shaped like bongos. It's got usually a narrow part and a wide part. Maybe get a higher tone and a lower tone just without any effort at all.
And slapping the sides gives you different pitch than.
Some people rap on it with their knuckles, which I feel like that's dangerous for me, but my knuckles are kind of delicate.
I thought you meant you were going to hurt the instrument.
But also, depending on, if your knuckles are not delicate, you might hurt the instrument. Don't wear rings if you're going to pound on it.
So that's the muted, no pitch sound. Then you can turn it over. I'm going to put my strap on because I like wearing a strap. And so the second way
And it's got lovely Hawaiian flowers on it.
nice. Okay, good. So the next way of, if you notice when I hit it this way, you can hear the strings vibrate. So if you want to, you can play it this way. And if you want to, you can hold a chord while you do that.
And if you don't hear that on the video, try it at home. It's a little bit easier to hear up close, probably.
And then, if you want another cool sound that you can't make with a hunk of wood, you can lay your hand gently, your left hand gently across the string, across all 4 strings, and then you have all kinds of options. You can just strum it with your fingernail, up and down. And the position of your left hand matters. This is from a low pitch sound, because the whole part of the string is vibrating. You can hear it better when I pick them, I think. Here's my hand up toward the headstock and back. You can hear it that each string makes a different sound. And then you can also do any kind of strumming that you want. And if you want to, you can do this with one hand. Put your thumb across the strings. I like to tuck the tip of my thumb. I do not do this with my tongue, hardly ever. I tuck the tip of my thumb.
Sherry is a linguist as her day job, so she does talk about tips of tongues.
I do. Now I can't even make words.
Sorry.
I put the tip of my thumb between the first and second string, and then lay my hand back. And then my index finger can strum a couple of the strings here. That's my new favorite.
Don't be alarmed if you can't do this on your first try. It's not as easy as she makes it look.
And then you can also do a combination, or with one hand. So it does everything.
So look, you can be the drummer in your ukulele group without even knowing how to play the ukulele on day 1.
Yeah.
Just be tasteful.
And be kind to your instrument. They really, I mean, musical instruments are, they can take a thumping. But you notice I didn't take it off and whack it into the brick wall.
Don't use drumsticks on your ukulele unless
don't do that.
Unless you have carefully planned.
I might carefully use a small one with a wooden mallet, maybe, carefully, with a wooden ball on the end.
There's a really great video on YouTube of James Hill playing his ukulele with chopsticks, which is super awesome. A chopstick is the right, sort of the right weight and density for tapping gently on a ukulele rather than regular.
Yeah, go immediately. Turn off what you're watching now and go Google James Hill.
Just Google James Hill as soon as you're done watching this.
Yeah.
With James Hill chopsticks. All right, so we haven't even gotten to playing notes yet. So there's a lot of ways.
We're having all kinds of fun.
There's a lot of ways you can play notes on a ukulele. Again, without even knowing how to read music. Look, you can pluck a string, get a note. You can put your fretting hand down somewhere on the fretboard and get a different note. You can just find things that sound good.
And again, once your ukulele is tuned, which we didn't show you this time, but there's other videos about that, you play what sounds pretty to you, and if you like it, then it's nice, right? You like it, it's good.
And you can strum chords. And one of the fantastic things about a ukulele when it's tuned up properly is these 4 notes sound fantastic together. So you can already play your first chord without your fretting hand knowing anything about what to do. You can also pick and you can pick the notes with your thumb, like I tend to do. Okay, I'm going to take off the name tag. That's causing me some trouble. You can use other fingers. You can put your picking hand closer to the bridge to get a brighter sound. Or you can put it up here on the fingerboard to get a mellower sound.
And if you have a friend who will sit here and do this for you.
Exactly. Find notes that sound great together.
And have your friend play louder sometimes and quieter.
So there's a bunch of things that you can do without reading music, without knowing any notes, without learning any of the things that you will and should learn.
I feel like my blood pressure has just gone down by, I don't know.
A ukulele will mellow you out, it will sound beautiful, and it will encourage you to learn more about how to play more things. It'll encourage you to learn more about music and grow as a human being. So the ukulele is a winner. So on that note, if anything that we're doing today seems too difficult, or even if it seems too easy based on your previous experience and knowledge, just hang on a minute and listen, and maybe experiment by combining what we're doing with something else that you already know how to do. Because I think the best way of making music almost always involves making music with other people and putting different instruments together and different voices together in different ways and exploring the ways that they can connect. Also, one of the greatest things about the ukulele, and one of the reasons in some countries, Canada notably, a lot of elementary schools in Canada use ukuleles for beginner music classes for everybody in the school.
Which you should lobby for if you're tired of hearing squawk, squawk, squawk on the recorder.
You know, recorders are fine.
They're lovely.
The main thing about recorders is that they're cheap. They're inexpensive. You can get an inexpensive recorder easily. You can get a pretty inexpensive ukulele pretty easily also. And it's got some versatility. One of the best advantages of a ukulele is you can sing while you're playing it, which is much harder to do with a recorder. So ukuleles are great. Everybody should have one. I think Linus in the Peanuts comic strip once said every baby should be issued a ukulele at birth. And I could get behind that. I think I missed a page.
Oh no.
I printed my notes here double-sided to be efficient. Oh, so one of the things you can almost always do, if you don't quite understand what we're doing or how we're playing something, one of the options you almost always have is doing something percussive with your instrument. Another option that often, not always, but often works is try playing an easy chord that you already know. Try playing the open strings. See if some of those notes fit with what else is going on, or maybe one of your easy one-string chords, like this F add 9 chord that only takes one finger on the fretting hand. Okay. You have any other introductory remarks that you'd like to make?
No, I think you're good. I think you're good.
Well, following up on, and once again, I'm going to plug the library website and the Ukulele Club video page on the library website. You can also get there through our band website, grubsmusic.com. There are archives of previous live streams, and there are also some short tutorial videos about specific topics introducing you to various aspects of the ukulele and music theory and ukulele playing and all sorts of things. And so on the last one of those short videos, I was talking about smooth transitions between chords, and that's kind of where we're going to pick up today, talking about some specific ways to make smooth transitions between chords, because that's one of the ways, that's one of the skills that you will need throughout your life as a musician to make beautiful music, is to know how to move smoothly from one note to the next, or from one combination of notes to the next. A chord, spelled C-H-O-R-D for reasons that are too complicated to go into, is a combination of notes that are played at the same time. So this is a chord, this is a chord, this is even a chord. And in fact, this is a chord. Okay, I think this is where we're going to talk about the open chord and the bar chord. So go for it. I'm going to get the bass out.
Okay, so if you just go wham on your ukulele, wham, wham, people will call it different things, but let's just call it A, because that's easy and also true. So this is an A minor 7 chord. So all of the strings from the top of from the headstock here all the way down to the bridge here, the whole length of the string is vibrating. As just like Mr. Pythagoras said they should. Okay, and now, but if I can shorten, instead of like picking individual fingers and individual frets, I can just take my whole hand and block all of the strings at a particular fret. So it's hardest to do at the first fret, but I'm going to show off and do it for you. So here's this chord, and here's an A sharp chord, and here's a B, and here's a C minor. These are all minor chords. Here's a C sharp minor. Here's a D minor, and these get easier to lay your hand on as you go up the neck, because of physics, because of the length of the string. It's all about levers. Right? These get easier as you go up. So one of the things, it's levers. So one of the things that happens unjustly to beginning string players is a lot of the introductory material wants to keep you with your hand as close to the headstock as possible, because I don't know, that seems like maybe it's easier.
They're worried that you'll get lost if you're not close to your home location here.
I guess so.
I guess.
I don't want to scare you. But you know, they put frets all the way up. All up to there. And if you got a cutaway like mine does, your hand can nip in here and you can play this note, which I try to do as much as possible because it's there. So all these frets are yours to play with. All these worlds are yours, right? All these frets are yours to play with, and you don't have to feel limited by keeping your hand as close to the top as possible. So if this is an A chord, this is A sharp, B, C, C sharp, B. So if I want to play, if I've got an A chord and I want to play a D chord, unfortunately, it's still got to do with some music theory, so you can't go A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I. You can't do that, so sorry about that, but it's true. And if I want a D chord, I can just count up 5 frets and get my D chord, and then my finger across here, and have A's and D's.
And feel free, if the letters are confusing right now, feel free to just ignore them and let go, because the important thing is the 5th fret, if you're looking at it, it has a dot. On a lot of instruments, in fact, there's a dot on the top of the neck. So even when you're holding the instrument correctly and you're not looking at the front of it, you can actually cheat and look down at the side of the neck here, and there's still a dot.
Because you don't want to twist it like this to look, because it'll hurt your wrist.
So
the other thing is that if you have your own ukulele, what you really should do is on the 5th fret on the back of the neck. Sorry, my little rainbow dewey here is, you know what? At the 5th fret, I put just a piece of tape so that as my thumb is sliding up the neck, I can go, oh, there's the 5th fret, and you don't have to look down at it. And then I've got another one up here at the 10th fret. My recommendation is 5th fret and 10th fret if you're going to mark the back of your neck. That's the kinds of things you'll need. I sometimes have a narrower one here on the 8th fret, but in this uke I just have 2 marked. And that's just nice because as you're moving up, your hand is moving up the neck, your thumb tells you, "Oh, stop there. Whoa, okay, stop." Okay.
And on the theoretical side, not too theoretical, practical theoretical, you will find throughout your life in music that the fifth fret is really important. Notes that are 5 frets apart tend to be really important and related to each other in important ways.
So once upon a time, I was given a banjo. I was on the beach with some friends. I was given a banjo. I was like, "Hey, you play instruments? Here's this banjo." I go, "Okay, thank you." And they said, "Well, play something for us." And I thought, "Oh, I've never really touched a banjo before in my whole entire life." But I know that a banjo without any strings fretted, is a G chord. And so I started playing and singing a song with the thing open. I thought, okay, now I need to say it in the next chord. And so then I just took my hand and laid it down on the 5th fret. And all of a sudden I had 2 chords. And then I figured out if I go up to the 7th fret, 5. I had all this music all of a sudden I was able to make, and people were like, "She's never touched a banjo before. What kind of thing is happening here?"
She's a genius.
I was a genius, yeah. Outside of inside my own head, in their heads, I was a genius. But really,
so if you too want to be a genius,
yeah,
find the 5th fret on your ukulele, because that's an important place to go.
So when you're doing a fretted a bar, we call these bar chords because your finger is a bar. You lay it across here like this. I almost always take my middle finger and push on the back of my index finger to make my index finger stronger, so that the muscles of 2 fingers are squishing the strings, not just the muscles of my index finger. So I've got my thumb on the back of the neck, and I'm pinching it, pinch, 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 and then I'm taking my middle finger and I'm putting it up against my index finger so it's stronger. But I don't want to work that hard. So ukulele, why should I work hard? And then I generally keep these 2 out of the way unless I need them to play other strings.
One finger usually has plenty of strength to hold down one string, and in fact the usual comfortable playing position involves kind of curling your hand like as if you're holding an egg or a small orange in the middle of your hand, so that you can push the strings straight down with the tip of your finger. The thing that's different about a bar chord is you've got to put your finger across all 4 strings, so you can't use the leverage of your finger pushing straight down, which is why it's useful to have another finger for added strength in that scenario.
And you'll find that as you change instruments, the amount of pressure, it's pretty easy to play a bar chord on a soprano ukulele. Mine is a little tougher, its tenor's a little tougher, and my strings are wound a little tighter because I like them loud. It's a little.
And on bass, if you play a bar chord on a bass, it will sound terrible anyway.
Oh, don't do it. Don't hurt me. Okay.
So no worries. All right.
Okay.
So, as you will know, if you've watched some of my previous short videos, having a bass note underneath the chord can have an influence on what the identity of the other note seems like to a listener. So if Sherry does that open chord, I can make it sound like a C chord by putting a C underneath, but I can also make it sound like an A minor chord by putting an A underneath it. Likewise,
you might do that do C and then walk down and walk back.
Okay.
That sounds
okay.
so cool when you do it.
C, walk down to A, and back up to C. So Sherry hasn't changed the notes that she's playing, but it sounds like 2 different chords if the bass note under it is different.
My left hand is just like I'm holding my glass here.
Yeah.
The beverage of choice.
Your cream soda or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Okay,
The
so
non-alcoholic Wood County Public District Library beverage of choice.
yeah, you got them out of order, but it's okay. So 5th fret. Let's see that 5th fret chord. So So this can sound like a D minor 7 chord with a D on the bottom of it, but it can also sound like a very fancy, jazzy G chord if I put a G underneath it. So this is D minor, and this is G. This is like a G dominant 11 or something. It's very jazzy, very complicated. It's got a lot of different notes in it. And if you just open that up, we'll go back to C. So like I said, between the 5th fret and the 1st fret is extremely important. This makes it feel, when we go from that chord at the 5th fret with this bass note, like this, Sherry.
Oh, sorry.
If we go from this chord at the 5th fret with this bass note like this, to the open one with the C, when we finally get to that chord 5 frets away, you can hear that we've arrived at
Sorry,
home.
I just kind of went away from it.
We're at the end of, yeah.
I'm back now.
We're at the end of the song when we arrive there. So we can use this. We can use these facts about music theory and these facts about where the easy notes are on the ukulele to play a fairly sophisticated jazz standard with only 2 fingerings on the ukulele and with a little help from the bass. But let's try it without the bass first. So you can do this with just sort of 2 chords. And I don't really know the words. You'll recognize the tune. This is Mac the Knife, and I'm gonna play the chords, okay? And you'll play the tune.
Okay.
2, and it starts on 3/4. 1, 2, and 1, 2. So you can play that song with just those 2 chords, and it's reasonably convincing. But I think it's even more convincing when we plug in those bass notes. Because then the 1st chord is a C6. It's a fancy jazzy C chord. The 2nd chord at the 5th fret is a D minor 7. And then the 3rd chord, you can leave your hand there, is a very fancy G chord. It's got a G on the bottom, but it's got all those same notes as the D chord on the top. And then we go back to C. And for the 2nd phrase, it's almost the same, but we start on A minor. Same open fingering over there with an A on the bottom. And then the same cycle of D, G, and C. So we're just going to play through this cycle a couple of times. Maybe you could try doing the chords and then also doing the playing the tune over the bass notes. So we'll just try a couple of variations of this, and you can play along as you wish. 2, 1, 2.
that's really fun and not very difficult at all and sounds fancy is when I'm playing this bar chord up here, I just move my hand back a fret.
Oh.
And it sounds so fancy, but it's really easy. It's a really good chord.
One of the things I meant to say at the beginning of that, but I've mentioned it a few times, is you can always, if you're not, this bar chord, this open chord is one of the easiest things there is to do on the ukulele. And this bar chord takes a little bit of effort to get in the right position and the right amount of strength to hold the strings down without tensing up too much. But it's a nice thing to practice. But if you're not quite up to that, or if your arm is getting tired from doing that particular thing over and over again, you always have the option of playing along with Zed or some other kind of. You can always play the open chords and not play the closed chords.
So in our recording of Mac the Knife, which our band has made, we do all those things. We have one person going strum, 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 strum. I think that we've got 5 things going on at once in my pusher. One person strumming. We've got one person going. We've got the bass, and then we've got someone picking the melody. So none of us is doing anything that's super complicated. All of us are having a good time, and the result is we get this really put together arrangement of the song. So that's why you should have more than one ukulele, so that when your friends come over, you can go, hey, you do this.
I've been told that George Harrison used to keep ukuleles in the trunk of his car, so everywhere he went, he could lend somebody a ukulele.
Good practice.
Or sometimes he just gave them away because he was George Harrison and he was rich. All right, well, Sherry, it is time for you to introduce your 3-chord set.
Okay, so in a lot of rock and roll and folk songs, we talk about 1, 4, 5 chords, which basically, in this case, means C chords, C1, C, D, E, F, 4, and G is 5. So C chord, an F chord, and a G chord. So traditionally, you might have been taught these kind of changes where you've got the C chord, and you go put a couple fingers down over here, get an F chord. You pick all your doggone fingers up, pick all of them up, all of them, put them all the way up, then put them back down to the G chord, then pick all of them up, and put it back down to the C chord. So you can do this, and there's ways of making it easier. And eventually it becomes quite easy.
And in fact, watch the library Facebook page in a couple of weeks. Our next video will be about that very thing, making those changes a little bit smoother. But
I'm all about the least effort and maximal joy, right? So here's what I suggest you do to make these which sounds super useful already, doesn't it? It's super useful. About approximately 36,000 songs. But it's quite a bit of work to do all these. So here's what I suggest. And you're going to have to get over that psychological barrier of moving beyond the 3rd fret. But you can do it because you're brave and strong. And it's a ukulele. Nothing bad will happen. So here's what I suggest you do. For the C chord, I want you to take your index finger and put it on the 3rd fret of the 1st string. And that's all. That's your C chord. And in other contexts, I've been hollering at you not to use the index finger. Like, use your ring finger, right? Use the ring finger. And I've been pretty adamant about that. But if you're doing something else, besides, why do what I say anyway? Nobody does. So in this case, use your index finger. Put your index finger down on the 3rd fret of that string. Get these 2 fingers ready. Get your middle finger and your ring fingers ready. Because after your index, if you're done playing the C chord, what you're going to do is take your ring finger and your middle finger, and you're going to put them on the 5th frets of the 2nd and 3rd string. So it sounds like this. The string is open. 4th string is open. So come with me and find that chord. Just come to where I am. So it's the 3rd fret with your index finger. with your ring finger, and the 5th fret with your middle finger. And isn't this pretty? It sounds just like this chord.
Oh, let's alternate those. You do the first one, and I'll do the second one.
Okay.
Oh, sorry. So we're playing the same notes. We're playing C's and G's and A's and F's, but some of them are in slightly different places on the neck. And now we can switch again. And again, we're playing the same combination of notes, but in slightly different places on the neck.
And you can sound like 3 or 4 people when you're really only 2 people. Okay, so beautiful. Now,
Did we say what that chord was?
that's an F.
That
It's
was
an F with a G in it.
the F add 9, the 1-finger F chord that you may have learned earlier if you've been following us.
And if you don't
haven't-
like this string in there, if you feel like it's intrusive, you don't have to play it. Just strum these 3. Since I strum with my index finger, I might sometimes put my thumb down on this open string to keep it from vibrating. But I like it. Okay, so you got that. And again, at this point, if your hand is starting to shake or if your hand hurts, just drop it down. If you feel tension coming in your shoulder, just drop your hand. Just take your little hand, like a sleeping kitten, just pick it up and drop it down. That's just like what you do with your kitten when he's sleeping, right? If you're me. Okay, let's find it again. Find your C chord. Index finger on the 3rd fret of the 1st string. Now leave that index finger right where it is. It doesn't have to move. He's settled. He's happy where he is. Now put your other 2 fingers down on the 5th frets of the inside strings. And now you take this whole hand configuration with these 3 fingers and move it up 2 frets. And you'll notice that the 3rd and 4th string now have the same pitch. That's your G chord. Now play that, and now just take it back where it was. Bring it back down 2 frets, and by down I mean toward the headstock. And now lift up your index. You lift up your middle finger and your ring finger. This is the easiest way to get. Let's do it nice and slow. That's your goal. Your goal is.
But sometimes putting together the left and right hands is something that needs to be set aside until the left hand knows what it's doing and the right hand knows what it's doing. And then they can do it together.
So when I changed between this F chord and this G chord, what I was going to say to you is you can go play that chord in between that F sharp or whatever the heck it is, but you don't have to, and usually you don't want to. So I'm going to play my C chord, put my 2 fingers down, make my F chord, silently travel my hand along the neck of the ukulele 2 frets, 1, 2, play this one, take my hand back down 2 frets, 1, 2, then I'm just going to pick up these 2 fingers, my index finger is never going to move.
Also, you don't have to pick them up that high.
Yeah.
It's we're doing that sort of to demonstrate so you can see which finger is which, but the ideal is to move your fingers as little as possible. Just get them up off the strings.
Because you don't want to work there. That's what James Hill says all the time. You don't want to work that hard.
That hard.
It's too much. Don't do it. It's too much.
So again, if you're getting comfortable with these chord changes, you can always just give it one strum like I'm doing right now. And in fact, you could also at this rate, you could also just skip the middle chord. So let's try that. 2, 3, 4.
we doing?
Oh, sorry. You do what you were doing
Oh.
before. I'm skipping the middle chord. 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. C, F, G. So you can still practice moving your hand into that F position, but it might be tricky to play it that fast.
Oh, well, I think
But
you
you
just
can-
play the F when it comes out. You go bum bum ba-da-ba-da-bum, ba-da-bum, ba-da-ba-bum, ba-da-ba-bum. Just sit around a while and then bum, bum, ba-da-bum, ba-da, ba-da-bum, ba-da, ba-da-bum, ba-da, ba-da. Should we do
Always options.
should we do a couple of them? I don't know how we're doing for time here.
Well, we could probably wrap up with this.
Okay.
And then a reprise of the theme song.
Oh,
But we could do it. We could do a little bit of a verse or two of Wild Thing or something.
Oh yeah. So let's play these chords. Let's give it just a nice slow measure of each of those for a little while.
Okay.
Let's start with the C. I'm going to count four beats of C and 4 beats of F and 4 beats of G, and then 4 beats of F and 4 beats of C. G,
Okay.
F, G. We're just going to take it nice and
2,
easy.
1, 2, 3, C. And of course you can always play Z if you're not quite ready to do these changes. Or you can just do the F and C, skip the G, and play the F again, and the C. Skip that one.
One more time. Big finish. Nice.
So as I was saying before, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, Wild Thing. You make my heart sing. You make everything groovy. Wild Thing. Or Louie, Louie, Louie. Whoa, whoa, we gotta go. Yeah, 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 yeah. Louie, Louie. Oh, baby, oh, baby. So, as Sherry said earlier, there's probably about 16,000 songs from the late
36,000.
50s, 36,000.
86,000. All of them.
From the late 50s and early 60s, and some from the 80s. Stand in the place where you live, now look north. Lots of songs that you can figure out how to play
And all the folk songs.
that pattern, and all the folk songs, all the campfire songs.
Yeah.
With slightly, maybe those same chords in a slightly different order. Well, thank you for joining us yet again today. We'll be back next month. I think it'll be the second Monday of December. Something's going on the first week of December, I'm not sure what. But we will leave you with the Ukulele Club theme song.
With all the words in the right order.
We'll see.
I won't sing it, so they will be
2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Wood County District Public Library, Ukulele Club. It's the Wood County Public Library Ukulele Club. So come on along and play your ukes with me. It's the Ukulele Club.